Hey there, everybody! Welcome to another episode of Tech Condo. My name is Petra and that should be here coming very soon. There it is. Welcome, everybody. Really cool of you to be here. My name is Petra, as you can see below. And if you like to support the show, then the way that you can do that is literally by subscribing. We're nearly there, 851 subscribers already. And as you can see, also the public watch hours are also top notch, so I'm really cool. And the reason why I want to have that is the community tab, because I want to build a community here for you so that we can geek out also after the fact. Really also a warm welcome to people that are live and direct here during the show. Let me go ahead and go in there. I see on TV channels. I will be talking about your comments very shortly. I see my dad is in the house as well. He says hi to everybody in all languages, German and in Finnish. So that is really cool. And also, I see that MT is in the house. Welcome from Hanover. Guten Abend. And also, Vil is also in the house from Finland. Excellent. And you guys are talking in Finnish, which is... I cannot speak Finnish, so I am not going to do that. I also see Kathleen over on Facebook. That's right. I am actually also streaming directly to Facebook as well. So I am actually streaming on my computer via to YouTube, and also on that computer to Facebook via the Web Presenter HD. I have to be very careful about saying HD, because that was one of the announcements of last week, that Blackmagic actually also created a Web Presenter 4K. But before I'm going to talk about that, and I still see some people coming in. I see HD Digital Media Audio Visuals from India. Cool of you to be here as well. All right, let's go ahead. Let's talk about what we're going to do. Okay, so last week, Blackmagic had a few major announcements. And what I want to do today is that I want to talk to you about what my expectations were before the announcement, what my initial thoughts were after the announcement, so more in generic terms. Then I want to go into all of the different products that we have been discussing, probably on family level, because there are multiple in one family. But during all of those different components, I will give you all the rights to just come into the discussion. Please write down what you think, how you look at the things, because I want to have a discussion on a community level and not so much only presenting my thoughts. I want you to have multiple angles to get the best advice for your future purchases. That's the way it is. Hey Jason, what's going on? Welcome. All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk about the first thing. On TV channels, he already kicked things off a little bit. Evening, Petra. Some great new products announced. Save the fact that at least the Pro version of the new studio camera should have an EF mount. That is what he wanted to say here. So it's a bit cut off there. Interesting. I think that is that might be also what I will say in a few minutes. And indeed, they already provided on their Pocket Cinema for 6K this on an EF mount indeed, and I know that is the case indeed. All right, so that's already kicking a little bit off, and I really would like you to say everything that popped up to your mind. Okay, let's talk about the Web Presenter 4K. And like MT, he says, I was surprised when they announced the 4K version of the Web Presenter, because I got my new one, like yours, a month ago. So this is the HD version right there, and I'm really happy with it. And we're gonna talk about that indeed. Let's just start to talk about the Web Presenter 4K. Oh no, before I do that, let's go talk about the generic thing first. Sorry. All right. Try to get some focus here, guys. So the first thing is that did it meet my expectations? I was expecting totally different stuff, to be honest. So what I was expecting was, so if you look at the Blackmagic website and you look at the ATEM switchers, the professional ones, the broadcast ones, the 1ME and a 2ME version, for example, they're still in the old style of Blackmagic, and they really need an update. So that was the first one that I was actually, actually wanting to see. Next to that, I was really hoping to see a new television studio. So let's, for people that do not know, you've got the ATEM Mini range. That's basically for small producers. Actually, we're all producers, so I'm gonna call you producers anyway these days. So these are for small producers. That means YouTube shows like I do right here, but also maybe local, regional, small setups, right? That's really for the ATEM Mini. You've got 4 channels or 8 channels depending on what you want, but it's basically a whole packaged deal. Then you've got the television studio, and that's where I would say that's really a professional level up already, moving from HDMI to SDI, good product, really robust 19-inch racks, for example, and very good quality. And for the television studio, you actually have already 3 variants. You've got the 19-inch rack mountable. Then you've got one that's the HD version, which doesn't have scalers, unlike the ATEM Minis that have scalers. And why is that so important? On the ATEM Mini, it doesn't matter what kind of camera that you can put on it. It will basically show the picture. On the television studio, you do need to have everything exactly the same, otherwise it will not work. And that's both on the rack mountable and the HD one. And then you've got the 4K one, and that one does have scalers. So that's the middle of the road, I would say. And then you've got the 1ME, 2ME switchers, and of course the Constellation 8K. And those 3 are really for big professional productions with a lot of people. So yeah, basically out of my league at least. The television studio, that would be in my league still. And the ATEM Minis, definitely, I do like the ATEM Minis more because of the ease of mind. But yeah, so that is a bit of what I was expecting. And for the 1ME and the 2ME, I would roughly think about the same. But for the television studio, I would really expect basically the ATEM Mini Extreme or Extreme ISO, but then with SDI and of course all of the features that the television studio has at the moment. So including Superstores, for example. So that you got a lot of stuff there. Now, what I didn't expect was exactly what they well, okay, I did expect the Hyperdecks, to be honest. I do own a Hyperdeck Mini, and it is a great little device. And I want to have more of them because I need that for in the studio, for this studio, to show off some new features and to have some good video content while I'm demoing stuff. And out and about, I actually really have to have one for let's say stingers and lower thirds, and another one, the second one, would be more for playing videos. And now you say maybe, Petra, why are you interested in a Hyperdeck if you can use a laptop like I have right here, out of frame at the moment? True, but with a laptop you always have more delay, and if you want to project something on the screens at the venue, you want to have something without too much delay. And that is the reason why I want to switch that via an ATEM switcher and not via a computer. Hence also the need of a Hyperdeck. There you go. And I'd rather buy a Hyperdeck than a second or a third computer, so to speak. So that's the reason why that was there, and why did I think that the Hyperdeck would be there, is because basically it was very hard to get one, because I ordered 2 of them. I already have one, and the second one was still not there. So I hope now that I will get the new one for the same price. Actually, that's what I discussed with the reseller. So I hope once it becomes available, I will have the Hyperdeck, and I will tell you which one exactly in a few minutes. I will have that one. There you go. Let's see if I'm not mistaken. There we go. 4K. I was hoping for a mini 4K. I can understand that, Jason. Though 4K, yeah, maybe I can imagine that. Right, I can imagine that. MT says, right now you have to see the whole picture, all comes together. I think so. I think that they really have everything from a starting YouTuber all the way to big production systems like national broadcasters, that kind of stuff. HC Digital says, I was hoping for an ATEM mini series with an SDI input. Yeah, basically, I think that will come. But I really don't think that they will call it the ATEM Mini. I think that they will call it a television studio, 4K maybe, or maybe HD, I don't know. But it will be with the brain of the ATEM Mini, but then with SDI. And I believe net rack mountable, to be honest, because that's really what you would like to have and that kind of stuff. But probably will be there. Indeed, finally the right tool for what you need, definitely. On TV channel, I will go to the Web Presenter in a minute. Empty Historian says, on the bigger ATEM series, I think there will be an update very soon, maybe in October at NEB, at Television Studio Update, with the inside of the ATEM Mini, right? I think that will be the case. I'm personally hoping it will not be NEB, but IBC, because I am planning to go to IBC here in Amsterdam in December. That has been slated a little bit due to COVID, and I'm actually planning it. I actually already have a hotel booked, so let's see what happens. It's in Amsterdam, so it's close, but it's not as close that you can just go there like two times 2 days in a row. And I really want to see a lot, so that's the reason why I want to stay overnight for a bit. Let me see. Jason says, I'd love to learn more about how to use Hyperdecks with lower thirds and stingers on your ATEM Mini. Good. Gonna write that one down. I will talk about that, Jason. Definitely. I will. Thanks. Can I mark it somehow? Yep. I'll make sure that it's that I'll just even put it there. Right. Cool. Thanks. I'll talk about that. All right. So on TV says we were talking about Hyperdecks, so maybe I should then start with the Hyperdecks. The Hyperdecks were launched in readiness for the new ATEM SDI switchers, which will be announced at the NEB. I think so too. It makes perfect sense that they will have something for NEB. It doesn't make sense to have everything released before these big conferences anyway, so that makes perfect sense. Okay, so I think that we need to start with the Hyperdecks, so let's do that. Now, unfortunately, I do not have the name. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. So before I start, let's talk about an old Hyperdeck, just to give you some perspective how old it is. Why is that popping up? Wait a sec. View queue. Clean queue. There you go. Bloop. All right. Okay, that went well. Okay, so the old version looks like this, right? So this is an older Hyperdeck Studio, and basically this is also what I meant with the ATEM Mini. being, the ATEM switchers, the 1ME, 2ME being old style with the grayish look and feel to it. These are basically all systems that are ready to be updated, upgraded to a newer style. And I think that I can safely say that black is really the new silver for them. So that's basically what they will be talking about. So let's talk about Hyperdecks. And the first Hyperdeck that Grant showed was this one right here by, this is basically the Hyperdeck Studio HD Mini. Now, this really looks the same as the old one, the old Hyperdeck Studio Mini, with the addition of the HD. But what does it add or lack? Because this one is actually $200 less in value than the current one. So the current Hyperdeck Studio HD was about $650, and this one is $400 or $500. I mean, so it's less. So what does that mean? What do you lose? Because that's typically what you then see. Well, in order to see that, you actually have to go to the opposite side, and this is where you find that unlike on the old Hyperdeck Studio, which I have, it does not have key and filler. And why is that so important? Well, the reason why that is so important is that is the sole way to really have a good lower third, like you have a vMix, etc. But if you want to do that in ATEM Mini, you really have to have not only the picture, but you also need to have the information about transparency and that kind of stuff. And that is then the filler, right? Or the key and the filler. Now, this is not there. What is here, though, what I did like, and what that's not on the old one, is that you now are able to connect a SD drive to it, like on your ATEM Mini Pro, Pro ISO, Extreme, and Extreme ISO, and you can record whatever you do on that device. So that's the reason why you now see on the top, and let me get a bigger shot of this one. So on the top of this, you see that you can select not only the SD drives, but also the external drive that you can add right there, which was really a nice feature in my opinion. And maybe it's also great for if you have already like maybe two of the other ones and you want to maybe add some additional play out systems, then it might be interesting to do that. Otherwise, I don't think so. So that was the first one. Now the same price as the previous one. Let me go to this one. Oh, before I forget. There's one more thing which I really liked, is that finally they have dark modes, and dark modes actually allows you to, of course, have a better I would say a better user experience, because I don't really like the white look and feel to it, to be honest. So that was the first one, and the second one actually I really like, and that is the Studio HD Plus. At first, I have to admit, I was like, nah, I don't want to. It's not for me. And the reason for that I thought that would be not for me was that it had a lot of additional features at the front, but I didn't realize at that time about the key and fill, nor did I realize, and this is also a very nice feature, is that it also has HDMI in, which the old version of Hyperdeck didn't have. And that by itself means that I don't have to convert it from HDMI out on the ATEM Mini to SDI in on the system. So that's already like cutting down $50 for the converter, and also maybe, I don't know, 15-20 euros for or dollars for a cable. So that's already a decrease in the price range of 70 for me. So that made it indeed very interesting to go with this product, and that's the one that I also ordered basically. So I actually already had one in the order, but I just flipped it to this one, and made perfect sense to me. So that is really cool. Now, before I continue with the rest, I want to go back to the comments, because I see a lot of comments, so that's great. MT says, dark mode, maybe the current model also gets dark mode with firmware updates. Might be. I don't know. I do like it, but I think that they will most likely don't invest in it anymore. But I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. HC Digital says the mini-series is no interlaced setting, as it needs a program to interface cross converter, which gives problems for TV broadcast. Yeah, that's something that I've learned just recently, that indeed a lot of television studios and broadcast facilities still use interlaced, even though it's digital. I thought that it would be these days normal to have a progressive, but that seems to be indeed an issue. And indeed, that means that television studios still also can use interlaced, like also the other the products. Yeah, you're right. That is correct. That is totally correct. MV says, but going back to the Hyperdecks, I will go for the AC Plus, maybe only to fill up the rack. I would not do that only to fill up the rack. Like I said, for me, the use case would be one for, okay, I have two use cases. One use case is within my studio. In my studio, my use case would be to be able to record and play back some videos, so that I can use that as part of my demo, so that you don't have to see me all the time, but I can actually have some more interesting shots to work with. That's one. So that's for in my studio. And the second one would be on location, where I will be able to have one dedicated for stingers and lower thirds, and the other one will be for playout systems. So, and yes, I agree that if you have one, you want to have two of them, and that is totally understandable. I would do the same, especially because of the price difference that you can with a bit of a fantasy, you can remove a little bit of the price difference because of the converter that you don't need to have for the if you use ATEM Mini Pro, that is. So that's that one. Let me see. MT says even the playback didn't work very well with some codecs. I used it only for a record, so no need for key fill, especially in in combination with my television studio. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Let me go down. I think that so yeah, on TV channel says that the Hyperdecks were launched in readiness for the new ATEM Mini ATEM SDI switchers. I agree. Let me go down if there are more information about Hyperdecks that you guys want to talk about. Looks like I have everything. Yeah, looks like I have everything. Cool. Cool. Oh, thanks. Just subscribe to keep up. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thanks. Really helpful. Again, with more subscribers to the channel, that allows me to also enable the community tab, which also allows me to provide more value to you. Also, if I don't produce a video, I have limited time for producing videos, so ideally I would love to do this every day, but that's with my day-to-day job a bit of a problem, so that's the reason why I'm very happy with that. Thanks a lot. Now let's talk about, let's go back to the Hyperdecks, because these were not the only two that were launched. So let's go back. So again, this one was the HD Plus. This is the one that I will be purchasing, and the other ones will be a little bit out of my league, to be honest. This one, for example, the HD Pro is a 19-inch rack, and it is a very nice rack mount with a lot of features there. Noticeably, almost the same as the one that you have with the Plus. So it's not like it's very much different if it comes to your connectivity. What is different, of course, is that you can also put in some discs directly, which is obviously also a very nice product. Next to that, you've got the 4K, which is basically the same one as the HD models, but then real true 4K. I am emphasizing the word true here because it seemed that the HD model, the HD Plus that we just talked about, doesn't you cannot go past HD. That is not true. You can actually do a little bit more than that. You can go to 4K, though with some limitations. Which ones exactly? I have to admit that I have to look at that. But you can go 4K also with those HD models. But this one had the one that I just showed you here. That one is really true 4K. So that's just the back of it. Really a nice product with XLR and that kind of stuff. So really, really nice. So yeah, so that is, now comes another thing which I noticed during the video is that they are gonna make noise. As you can see on the right hand side, you see a lot of fans, and fans do have the tendency to make noise. So in my studio, I have to admit that I will have to put them as far away as I can from me. That's also the reason why I want to control them remotely. But of course, if I'm producing a show, that doesn't matter because I'm far enough away from where the action is at. But this is something that you might want to be aware of, that there is actually fans in those machines. I would be very careful with that. All right. Oh, MT says, I will get one, maybe the 4K model for work to replace the old one. That means I totally agree with you. If you produce bigger shows, then it makes perfect sense from that perspective. For people that do not know, I have a day-to-day job which is not related to video, even though we do make videos these days. So it might become more and more something that I will do also there. Next to that, I have a production studio company, and it is not enough to live from, so to speak, but it is professional. So it's definitely professional. I have 25 years of experience at the local radio station and TV station. So it's not that I'm totally new. So we are professional, but it's just not full time. That's a difference. So just a little bit of a backstory there. All right, so that's the one that I saw. Then this one is also interesting, and maybe I should make this a little bit bigger for you guys. So let's zoom out a little bit. So here you see that it actually also contains a monitor, just like the web presenter that is behind me right there. You will have the ability to have a monitor to really look into what's going on. And I forgot something else, and that is also very important, is that it's now possible on the HD Plus, the one that I'm purchasing, but also on the bigger models, the Pro models, so to speak, to listen to the recording as well. That is really cool. There's even a speaker in it. So that's really, 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 really cool. So I am really looking forward to that. Maybe I can actually show it one more time. Let's go. I think that I'm going to go with the smaller version so that it's more. So if you look on this slide, then totally on the left hand side you see a button, and if you press that button, you will be able to listen to the broadcast. Not in perfect quality, but it's just monitoring. But it's there, and you can actually also add a headphone as well. So that is really, really interesting to this product. At least I think. Oh, good. So MT says the XLR is only for time code. Audio has to be embedded via SDI. Yeah, so timecode is definitely a big thing, but Grant from Blackmagic also showed that it's possible to connect also the reference and the timecode across multiple hyperdecks now. So that means that with one push of a button, of maybe like for example the first hyperdeck in the row, then everything switches on, and so that everything is also nicely synced. So that will also be beneficial for a nicely synced end result if at all needed, which is really great. Thanks for that update, MT. Really appreciate that. Let me see if I'm not forgetting something. There's a lot of comments here. I love it, guys. Really do that, please. I love it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's go ahead with the. I think that I have all of them. Let me check. Moving on. Oh yeah, the last one, of course, is the whole package. There you go. These are all the hyperdecks that side by side on top of each other, so you can have a pretty full rack with all of those components, and that is really cool. I think that this is enough for the hyperdeck. If you have any questions or reaction, please let me know, because then I will just go back. No worries about that. I will now continue back with the Web Presenter 4K. This is the device right here, and that was one of my surprises. This is something that I actually didn't even think about, that might be something that could be released at this moment, especially because that HD model was already, that one right here, was just nearly launched like 2-3 months ago, but I really love it. And basically it's the same device. It looks exactly the same, with two exceptions. One is that on the left hand side you see the logo, that it's Ultra HD, and then 4K, and on the right hand side and the back, it's basically the same device. There's not a big difference here at all. So this is the device, and this is what it looks like. It also has this really nice monitor, which I really like. I'm actually considering to keep it here because because I can actually see it in the corner of my eye, so I know that my audio is still okay. I know that I'm still playing. I did decide to stop with Facebook, so because I'm dually streaming, and I want to use this one solely also for YouTube. So that is what I want to do. But I have a problem with this device. Even though I love it, and I have to admit that if I would buy a second one, I will of course buy the 4K version, because then it makes me future-proof. But for now, for me, I will not purchase it, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it's actually purely related to something that is outside of my control. So if I go like this, you'll see that my average speed, or data rate, I mean, is about 9, 10, roughly in that area. So 9 to 10 megabits per second. That is what you see right there. So it's about 10, and that is because it's, well, HD. So it just pushes out the HD and nothing more, nothing less. Now, I want to show you a screenshot of what they showed you during the stream, and that is this one right here. And note that below you see the bitrate is not 10 but 30, even more than 30 megas, and that is megabit per second, and that is totally fine. I understand that because it's 4K and 100% perfect. However, if I look at my now I need to do something like so. So I'll show you my screen. I did a ping today just to see how much I could push out, and so this is on my desktop. So I can push out until 41 megabits per second. That's the third digit. 41. That's all I have. So if you only have 30 for 4K and you have 40, you say, that's enough. But that's not really true, because you always need to build in some for fluctuation. And I would not feel comfortable with 30 if I only have 40. If I would have 50 up, that makes perfect sense to me. That would be a good, a good bandwidth to have a little bit more. If something goes down or whatever, you still have enough to have a good quality. So that is the reason why I would not be purchasing it. Well, not because let me rephrase that. I might be purchasing it, but not because I need it for 4K, but more because I want to have a second one and I want to be future-proofing. Now, that being said, it might be that in 2 years from now, I will have fiber, sorry. So it might be that I have fiber, and then it might be that I have 100 up, 100 down. I know that within the city limits from where I live, there are popping up more and more fiber points. So it might be something that will come, but not for now. So, Tim, no worries. A warm welcome to you, sir. Really appreciate it. I don't need a web presenter, Tim says, but I do like to monitor output. Yeah, it is definitely one thing that I like. And being in IT business, I love monitors. I love dashboards where I can see what's going on. And that's also one of the reasons why I'm a bit, Tim was also talking about the fans as a relation to what I just said. He upgraded the fans with another one, like Aaron Parecki says, one of my friends, of course, and it's much quieter, which is great. But then you need to open it up, and then you've got some warranty issues. It's not the way that I would like to do it, to be honest. So it's not my thing. MT says at work we have 200 megabits up and down, and a second one with 100 up and down for events in the house. There you go. Makes perfect sense. Then for you, no brainer. Go get it. It's really great. For me, that's for me definitely one that I would buy it. But like I said, for me at the moment, and also looking at locations where we have fiber in the area, it's still, I would say, 80% not fiber, 20% fiber, and to only for those 20% purchase a different system doesn't make sense to me. So, but there isn't a reason to stream out to 4K. Well, it depends. If delay is not a big deal, you can still stream out in 4K. But if you don't want to have a lot of delay, like for example, I want to have a discussion with you, then 4K is definitely a no-go, because then you have like 1 minute, 2 minutes, maybe even more delay. And now because of it's about 15 to 20 seconds delay, I know what you guys are talking about. I can understand that. But with 3-4 minutes later, it's going to be quite a challenge. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, again, looking back at this is for me the reason why. So I cannot really handle those 30 megabits. That's going to be a trick. That's very much a problem for me. Okay. Tim says, in relation, I agree with the warranty. Mine was out of warranty. Unlike Aaron's, I did cut wires. Just plug and go, and easy to put back. Okay, cool. Nice, Tim. It's really good that you did that, and I'm really interested to know how you did it, because once my goes out of warranty, then I might be doing the same, but it's not out of warranty yet. And he says, at the moment we use for streaming a Monacore HDX and a HA Halo. Interesting. Nice. I will have to look that up. I don't know. I do know AJ. I know. I love AJ. I actually have converters from them, to be honest. But the other brand, I don't know. That's a new brand for me. Thanks. I will look that up. All right, let's go on with so that was basically the web presenter. For me again was really a surprise, and I think that people would really like it. And yeah, I was again very surprised. Let's go ahead and talk about, for me, I would say not so well. It was a surprise, and it was a product that at the start was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. And the more I think about it, I might be tempted to do it. This is the new Blackmagic Studio Camera 4K Pro. So this is based on an older version that they already had for a long time, and it really looks nice. I like that it has a tele light in front of it. You've got these decals, so you can change the number 8 to 7, 6, and all the way to 9 or something. I don't know, or 8. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if it's 1 to 8 or 1 to more, but I don't know. But at least you can just change the decals, and that makes it quite easy to see which camera is on program, is live. And what I also like about this camera is that it is a feature-packed camera. It's, look at this, HDMI out, SDI out, SDI in. And SDI in is for program, so that you have a big screen at the back of the camera, and you can actually see as a camera operator what the program does. So occasionally you can just go there to see what's going on somewhere else, which is really cool. Then you've got an Ethernet port, and the Ethernet port you will see is not only Ethernet. It's actually it's like a one cable fits all scenario. I'm going to say it out loud at the moment because it's really something that was an eye opener for me. And then you've got, of course, some power, which is not on the slide, but of course you will need to power it up or via the Ethernet cable. Really cool. And on the other side, and this is the side from during the show, and you can see that it's really a nice small camera. On the other side, you have, this is a 5-pin connector for comms, and then above that you got also XLR, so for audio. In this case, it's really audio and not timecode, so that is really cool. And this is what it looks like there. And on the top level, you see that it has 2 USB-C ports, and that is on the USB-C ports you can connect again your SD drive, but you can also connect accessories that we will be talking about in a minute. I really liked this camera, and I was watching the announcement together with my dad, and we were basically just talking about what would the price be. And my dad says, it's about 3,500. I think that my dad says at the start. Said, yeah, it's not 3,500. It's probably going to be roughly 1,700 or 1,800. No. And then, well, it became 1,800 or 1,795. So it was right on the money, which is great because this is a really good value for money, with one exception, and that is that it comes with a Micro Four Thirds mount, not with an EF mount, which is a problem. I can imagine some people, like I have an EF mount on my old Canon camera. I got Sony mounts as well, and I do own 2 on top of my two MFT lenses, all manual at this moment. So I don't have a perfect scenario for this camera, although it's growing on me. in all fairness. It's growing on me quite a lot, actually. And that is the reason for that is that, well, basically I don't really use cameras to record for videos. Actually, if I create a video on demand, like I will do for the coming Saturday for the Web Presenter HD, there will be a short form video about the Web Presenter HD and of course the 4K, obviously. But I will go very much in depth in the system or what you can expect, that kind of stuff. But the way that I do that is literally I do that in the studio. I record everything in the studio because I want to switch live. And then after that, once that is done, I will then edit it out on, of course, DaVinci Resolve via the speed editor and that kind of stuff. Video is still coming. So for me, a camera like this makes perfect sense, because I do not need all kinds of internal recordings, etc. And what I really like about it is that I can, via HDMI or via SDI, I can change the camera controls, I can zoom in, zoom out, I can do a lot of different things right from the ATEM software, but also from my ATEM Mini Extreme, which has a row of buttons that will, being limited, but you can do some tweaking on your camera. Like for example, the focus is one of them that pops to my mind, which is very interesting to use. So I am really stoked about it. I'm really interested in it, and I will not be surprised if I would purchase one of these to start with. Maybe two. No, let's start with one. Not this year. This year has been a very, very expensive year for me. Doing a lot to build on my studio and to build on my location site, but definitely one that I'm looking forward to purchase. So I don't know if you like it, but I do. Now, what can you expect more on that camera? This side is that it has a big, nice screen. Touch screen, so you can touch some buttons on the top row that you can see there, and it will act on that. But you can, there's also a very nice menu, actually the one that they have been using for a long time. On the left hand side you see function buttons, so F1, F2 and F3. Let me make it a little bit bigger because that's not really easy to see. Whoop, there you go. So on the left hand side you see the F1, the F2 and F3 that will allow you to also change it to other functions. So it doesn't have to be that one. The program button is on the top, and on the right hand side, I don't know if I have a picture of that. I should have. There you go. You see the possibilities for peaking and your gain and that kind of stuff. I really like this setup. So I think I might be tempted to purchase one. I don't know what you guys think. I have to admit that oh, this is another picture that I've created just in case. Let me go. Oh yeah. So here you go. So it does have also accessories that you can purchase separately. So this is the focus demand, which is based on a USB-C connector. That's the reason why the camera has not one but two USB connectors. Oh, wait a sec, I forgot one thing. That's the reason why I showed this one. On this slide, you can actually see that you can actually record on a external drive, and you can actually see how much space that you have on the bottom row, left of the audio meters. That's where you can see how much time that you still have left, and this is also where you can start the recording or end the recording, which is really, really cool. So that is that. Let me see if you have other things, because I'm wondering if I'm not going too fast. MT says we've got two Ursa broadcasts. We need a third camera with viewfinder and two handles for zoom and focus. There you go. Well, I think that you know what you need to do then, MT. Or at least I think so. At the moment, I'm a Panasonic Lumix based, so MFT should suit me. Yeah, I do have two MFT lenses, so I can at least start using it. But I also looked at what the lenses are that work perfectly with this product, and these are not very expensive lenses. So we're talking about 400 euros or dollars or less. So those are not really expensive lenses, and you will have power for focus and for zoom. So yeah, let's go back to the accessories. So this is the first accessory. Focus demand via USB-C, the same USB-C that you can use for remote recording, for external recording. And so you have two USB, so you can use this one for the focus, but you can also daisy chain it with another one, which is the zoom demand. So you can have two handles where you can do everything remotely, which is really, really cool. But it will cost you 500 together, the whole package, which is a bit on the high end if you say that the full camera without the lens is already 1700, which is still okay. It's not very expensive, to be honest. It's really a nice price. And now comes for me the kicker of that, and the reason why I'm really interested in this one, and that is this one. There's also a Blackmagic Studio converter. Now they didn't show it really during the demo because it seems to be that this product was not yet 100% ready for to go to market. But the idea behind it is absolutely fantastic. It has the possibility to add up to two cameras. At least that's what I see here. Let me show you. So on the left hand side you see two cameras that you can add, which is great. And it also has the possibility to just use one cable, and that cable does everything. It literally does everything. What I mean with that is that with that cable you can have power for the camera. You have your tele lights for your camera. You have the camera control via the ATEM software or your ATEM switcher. You have the possibility for your program, so you can get your program back to see as a camera operator what's going on. So it's jam-packed. I love it for that. That's so easy to do. One cable to rule them all. I love it. This is really one of the kicker for me if it comes to why this is a fantastic camera to have a look at. So what do you guys think about that? It is a 4K camera, by the way, just an FYI there. But there was something else there as well, and that is this one. This is the 4K Plus, and the 4K Plus is the same camera body with a few exceptions. The first exception is that it's only HDMI, so all the other stuff is gone. Also no audio, no comms, no nothing. Everything goes via HDMI. Now that's not a big problem because your ATEM mini switcher does allow for camera control via HDMI, of course. And this is also one of my questions for myself, because I have, and maybe I need your help. Maybe I should ask you. So my problem is that I know that if you have an HDMI, you can go till like 7 meters or so, 5 to 7 meters. And then after that, it becomes a bit tricky. But it seems that there are longer cables. Now, I don't know if they are real HDMI cables or that they are fiber cables. So HDMI to fiber and fiber back to HDMI. My question is that I want to have that camera control. That's for me one of the features that I really want, and I'm doubting really much that is available in the fiber. I don't know, I'm really much doubting that. But for the rest, it's a really nice system. And if you go, this is the other side, so as you can see, only an HDMI and some power, and that's it. So also not the Ethernet feature there as well. And so once they were talking about that, I was doing the same game. I was like, what is it worth to me? I was literally saying, 900, maybe 1,000. And then they said 1,300. And that for me is way too much for that 4K plus. That is for only $500 more. You get SDI, you get comms, you get the Ethernet ports that you can update to at a later stage, which I really like. Next to that, what they didn't say during the show is that the screen is also different. So the amount of nits, or the amount of lighted GIFs on the 4K Pro is way more than a 4K Plus, and that is for me something that I was also like, but then everything combined, for me the 4K Pro makes more sense to me. I'd rather just do it that way. All right, let's see what you guys have been saying during my rant there. I did already talk about. Here you go. So still talking about lenses. Olympus got out the Micro Four Thirds. I've heard not many left. They're at the market. I think Blackmagic will provide their own lenses. That makes sense indeed. I think that makes sense in the long term, but I'm a little bit struggling with why not EF. Now, I did notice one thing. Let me go back to a different shot, because if I go there, why didn't I just give it names? Why am I so stupid? There you go. Yeah. If I go to this picture, there's something that caught my eye, and that is these 4 circulars around the lens. It's like you can update that part, or of course you can surface it. That's totally understandable, but maybe you can also upgrade that part to another lens in the future. That's, looking at it, might be. I don't know. I hope so. I would love to see an MFT mount there, EF mount. Either of these new cameras will work for me. I think so, but I would strongly suggest to go to the Plus after the Pro version with SDI. It's more future proof. So that's basically the reason, and it is $500 difference. It's a lot of money, but I think it's worth it. The USB to connect and daisy chain them together is great, so no need for soldering length cables together. No, that's not needed anymore. That's great. I don't know what no one for a camera. What you mean by that? Sorry, I'm losing it. The other RG45 are the control and talkback. Gotcha. Yep, that's true. That's true. And MT says it's nice to get all of the data and power over one cable, but to get this working are another $900 or Canadian dollars on top of the camera and lenses. True. That's totally true, and that's also one of the major hurdles. So yes, I do have MFT lenses, so at least I can start using them. But I also now already know that it's very limited to smaller areas at the moment because of the lens that I have. But again, the lenses are not very expensive, but you do need to add that on top of it, definitely. But that's, in all fairness, for these kind of cameras, that's quite standard, I would say. Yeah. So also, if you buy a bigger these kind of cameras from other brands, you will typically see that you have to add lenses as well. So it's part of the deal. Although, yeah, I can imagine that it's quite a lot of money. It definitely is, and especially for people like us, producers from our level. I would say it might be a bit of a high end right there. So yeah. Anyway, that was what I had in store if it comes to the content. Basically, if I look at what I would like to purchase, so I already said that the Web Presenter 4K, I will not purchase that, definitely not anytime soon. I already have the HD. I love this HD. I think that this is already way more than enough for me. Maybe for future-proofing a second one, I don't know. But for me at the moment, not. For the Hyperdeck, definitely the HD Plus. That one was beautiful. Love it. Want it. Already ordered it. So hopefully we'll get it. Of course, if I get it, I will immediately go live as quickly as I can to show it off and to give you some feedback on it. Definitely, 100%. And next to that, the 4K Pro. That is the one that I would love. For that. Again, what I missed were new ATEM television studios and the 1ME and 2MEs. For me, the television studio, it might be a level up in the future one day. I hope so. What I also still one thing that they make is they have this advanced panel for switching, and I really like what it looks like. But I don't want to spend 3,000 euros for that, or dollars for that. That's way too expensive. So I would like them to do the same that they did for the DaVinci Resolve panel, where they have the big panel for 3,000, but they have a little one for 1,000. And $1,000, even though, again, a lot of money, makes more sense for my budget. So I'm still hoping for that they do that. Next to that, again, a television studio based on the ATEM Mini Extreme, but then with SDI. Wow, I would love that. Though I still think that they will not add the web parts. I think that's the reason why they have that 4K and the HD version separately. I think that will remain separate. All right, that's what I had in store for you today. I hope that you liked it. I think that it's already gone for an hour. Again, thank you very much. Again, if you are not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel so that we can reach 1,000 subscribers faster. Because if I reach that, I can start that community tab as quickly as I can, and that will also allow me to give you a better community experience, which I love to do, as you know. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope to see you next week. I will not be live next week. I have vacation. However, next week you will see as a premiere the video on the Web Presenter HD. Thanks so much for watching. See you around. Bye bye.